Hey everybody, I know it's been a long time, but I'm back with a new tutorial series focusing on Arch Linux, which is a distribution tailored for those that wish to control and customize their very own operating system. This comes at a price, however, as it makes it very noob unfriendly, so I hope to be able to make it a bit easier for those of you interested in Arch, but kind of put off by how difficult it looks. It really isn't that bad. So once you install Arch, you can truly make it your own. However, we got a lot to cover in this video. It's important that you can follow directions. I'll try to explain what it is that we're doing at every step. If you feel that I'm going too fast, please don't be afraid to hit pause. I'll be here when you hit play, I promise. So to begin, I'll be creating a virtual machine using Virtualbox, and if you're uncomfortable with this, please check out my video on creating virtual machines, since I'll be going a little fast here. So first off, please go to archlinux.org and hit this download button, and this will bring you to Arch Linux downloads. And down here you can choose a download site based on your geographical area. So once you do that, let's hit Virtualbox. Go to New, name this Archbox. Give it 512. Create, next, yes. I'll give it 12 gigs. Alright, once it's created, go to Settings, Storage, hit this disk, and we're going to go to our ISO. If you recently downloaded it, you're going to go to choose a virtual CD DVD disk file, and you're going to browse to wherever it is that you downloaded your Arch Linux ISO, but I already have it here, so I'm going to select it. Hit OK, and now we're going to start the system. Right click into it, we're going to boot into Arch Linux i686. This will boot up the live version of Arch Linux so we can install it onto our hard disk. Alright, so we're in. The system automatically makes you root, which is like the administrator in Windows, so you have access and are able to do anything. So to begin, let's tell the system what language we're going to be defaulting. So in order to do that, we're going to do nano. Nano is the command line text editor, and we're going to be editing etc.locale gen. Alright, here you're going to scroll down using the arrow keys or page down, and we're going to go to English US and uncomment it. So go over the pound sign to uncomment and hit delete. In order to save changes, whoops, uncommented the wrong one. So since I'll be using English, US English, I'm uncommenting English US UTF-8 and ISO. So in order to save, you're going to hit Control X. It's going to ask you whether or not you want to save. You're going to hit Y, and then you'll hit Enter. Alright, next up, we need to update the system with our new locale settings. So you're going to do locale-gen. Right on. Alright, let's check to see if we have internet connectivity with the ping command. C-switch tells ping how many times you want it to run. I'm going to hit 3, and we're going to ping 8.8.8.8. Alright, good to go. 8.8.8.8 is one of Google's servers, and it's usually up, so that's why I chose it. Alright, so now let's partition the hard disk. Partitioning is kind of like slicing a pizza. You're basically divvying up different places or different pieces of the drive to do certain things. Anyway, I'm going to do CFDISK, Now remember, if you recall, you can autocomplete commands using tab. So for example, I just have to type CF and hit tab. It doesn't always work like this. There are very similar commands, kind of like make filesystem, which we'll be using later, which have multiple entries. So in order to be able to tab it, make sure there's not a single command just like it. Otherwise it'll get confused and ask which one. But anyway, CFDISK, we're going to hit enter. This brings up a very nice, usable, I don't want to say GUI, but interface, in which we can partition our system. So here you can see our hard disk, 12 gigabytes in size. It's all free space. Computer doesn't really know what to do with it. It's just kind of there. So we're going to hit new primary. This is going to be our root partition. You can roughly think of this as where the system is going to store all the operating system files, all the settings, and all the software you're going to be installing. So this is going to be a pretty large size of the disk. So since we got 12 gigabytes to play with, I'm going to choose around 5 gigabytes worth. Your hard disk size is going to be different, so choose accordingly. So make sure that you divvy up enough space for the entire operating system as well as any programs you're going to install in the future. So I'm going to hit 5 gigs and hit beginning. Also, we need to make this partition bootable. So in order to do that, we're going to hit enter over bootable, and you'll see that the boot flag has been turned on, and that our primary partition has been given a name, SDA1. In Linux, hard disks are named SDA and then the letter, or SD and then the letter. So since this is the first hard disk, it's SDA, and its first partition is number 1. Alright, we still have some free space to play with. We're going to hit the down arrow and hit new, make another primary partition. This is going to be the home partition. You can think of the home partition as documents and settings, or users in Windows. So basically you can think of this as where your users are going to be stored, as well as their personal files. So I'm going to use the rest of the disk for this. So I'm just going to hit enter here, and looks like we're good to go. So from here, left and right arrow down to right, and it's going to ask you whether or not you want to write. You're going to have to type out the word yes and hit enter. Alright, wrote partition table to disk. Excellent. So we're going to go to quit. Alright. Good to go. So let's check to see that these partitions have been made successfully. We're going to use lsblk/dev SDA. And you'll see here, under name, you'll have the SDA, and then SDA1 and SDA2 branch off from SDA. Alright, cool. Next up, since we readied up the Pi pieces, we need to actually set a file system in there, otherwise the computer still doesn't know what the hell to do with these Pi pieces. So we're going to do make file system dot extension 4. Then we got to divvy, or we got to tell it what partition it wants, so it's going to be dev SDA1. And once it finishes, we're going to select SDA2. Alright, cool. So let's mount these newly created disks into the mount directory using the mount command, mount. Dev SDA1 into mount. Okay. And now we're going to make a directory called home within the mount directory, which is realistically actually in our partition. So you use the make directory command, mkdir, mount home. Alright, now we're going to mount SDA2 into that newly created directory. Excellent. Alright, so now that that is set up, we're going to use the Pacstrap command to download and install the operating system. So Pacstrap into the mount directory, base space base hyphen devel and I'm going to tack on sudo as well. So base and base devel are the bare minimum in order to have a working operating system, and sudo is something we're going to be setting up later, which allows a regular user to run super user commands, but we'll set that up later. For now, tack it on and hit enter. This is going to go online and update the packages, or the repositories rather, which is where Linux goes to download its software. And it's going to download and install all the necessary system files. So this will take a little while, depending on your internet connection, so I'm going to hit pause and come back when this is done. Alright, looks like it's done. So, now that we have an operating system installed, we need to generate an fstab. Basically, this tells the computer at boot how to boot the partitions, in what order and where they go. So this is kind of important, so please be sure to get this right. This is going to be GENFSTAB, capital U, and lowercase p, and we're going to the mount directory, greater than, mount, etc, fstab. Alright, you're going to hit enter here. Alright, let's make sure it worked. We're going to do nano, mount, etc, fstab. Alright, so here we go, dev SDA1. It's going to generate UUID, basically the identification for that particular partition. Looks good. Dev SDA2 is going to dump into the home directory with the extension 4. Excellent. So we're just going to hit Control X here, and we're not going to change anything. Excellent. Alright, looks like the video is already at around 12 minutes, so I'm going to hit stop here, and we're going to continue on with the next video. So, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you again.